What's up, everybody? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and I'm here to ask a question that has perplexed me for the longest time that I can't understand behind it. Now, first off, that question is why are people so reluctant and so hesitant to upgrade their monitors, specifically their monitor to a higher resolution? So, as an upgrade to a higher resolution monitor. Now, most people will straight off the bat just say it's like, oh, they don't want to have to invest in like 2 grand's worth of extra PC parts to upgrade the rest to do a serviceable job. Okay, this question isn't posed to those people. This question is posed to the absolutely ridiculous amount of people that I see posting new upgrade specs and just posting hardware and posting benchmarks and stuff like that. And this is aimed at the guys who are posting benchmarks with a Titan X and running a 1080p monitor. Or this is posed to the guys who are upgrading from, something like a 980 to a 980 Ti or something like that. So, it's not the smartest upgrade route, if you ask me. But, it's also designed to, I'm asking it to the guys who have like SLI 980 Ti's and are running a 1080p monitor at 60 frames a second. It doesn't make sense to me, and people will gladly throw away 6, 7, 800 euro on a new graphics card, or maybe even more if they want to buy multiple of them, or just say a Titan X or something like that. So people will gladly throw away money, massive amounts of money, for what we'll call at the moment headroom. Now, the graphical headroom. So maybe you're maxing your games or your main things that you want to play at the moment. Fair enough. Now, on top of all that, it gives you a little bit of headroom. Maybe you want to play one or two specific games a little bit in the future, and you want to get at least 60 FPS with maybe the max settings. Fair enough. You can factor all that in, but at the same time, it still seems excessive that these people, once again, are willing to throw one grand, 1,500 euro, maybe 2 grand into this little bit of headroom. And it blows my mind, because when you look at it, when you look at the actual sheer pixel count, and this is obviously the higher resolution will require more graphical grunt, but generally you get back what you put into it. So the main reasons why I always question this, especially because the current series of graphics cards, at least in the Nvidia line, I'm not that familiar with the current AMD line, but I haven't really heard too many great things about it. Not saying they're bad, I'm just saying I haven't heard the most specific things about it anyway. But I digress. I'm going to get back to what I was actually saying is, these new levels of graphics cards, they excel at higher resolutions. So, while you might only get whatever frame rate at like maybe 1080p, you can get considerably better gains and considerable improvements at higher resolutions. So, now, I'm not saying you're going to get 1080p 60 FPS and then maybe you're going to get like 4K 60 FPS. That's not exactly the same thing, but it's process efficiency and draw calls and all that. So without getting too much into it, they shine as they go up. There's no point in getting a really high-end graphics card like a 980 Ti. Maybe using a 980 Ti as a single card is an example. There's no point in running SLI 980 Ti's, or maybe a Titan X or SLI Titan X's, and running them at 20% efficiency and getting 1080p. But because the whole thing I'm saying is that people are so unwilling to upgrade their monitors to a higher resolution. Now, some people can throw out the cost prohibitive, and they can just throw that around if they want. Now, that is there to an extent, but the main thing is that these are the type of people I listed a minute ago. These are the type of people who are reluctant to spend money on a higher resolution monitor, but are more than willing to throw, 1 grand, 2 grand, whatever, on a little bit of graphical headroom that they're not even in my opinion, properly taken advantage of. And it's absolutely silly, if you ask me. So we'll go back. And this I'll give you literal statistics and raw numbers. That's the best way of doing it. So a lot of people out there that are using these overpowered setups for what they actually have are running 1080p. So naturally they're running 1920 by 1080. A lot of them only have 60 hertz monitors. Most of them don't even bother going with, say, G-Sync 120 hertz monitors or G-Sync 144 hertz monitors or anything like that. Most of them just seem to run a standard 1080p 60 hertz monitor while rocking, you know, SLI 980 Ti's or Titan X's or whatever. And these people with their 1080p monitors are running 2,073,600 pixels. So that's 2 megapixels per second, or per frame, I should say. Now, with how powerful and efficient graphics cards are nowadays, that's nothing. That's absolutely nothing. And by comparison, what they could upgrade to, you're looking at maybe a 2560 by 1440 monitor, 3,686,400 pixels. It's an improvement of roughly 75%, little under 75%. You're probably talking like 72, 73%, but it's close enough to almost double the pixels, and people are unwilling to upgrade to it. Now, I realize that 1440p monitors, at least high-end gaming 1440p monitors at the moment, are very expensive. And they will probably be expensive because I don't want to call them a niche market, but it's more so with the spec and standard of in them that are in the 1440p monitors at the really high end. They are very expensive. I know, I'm rocking one. It cost me like €900, and that monitor is still like €850 to buy brand new nowadays. So it's still, yeah, you can understand it's a little bit cost prohibitive in that sense. But here's another good example. And once again, I will delve into the cost side of it now in a second. You look at a 4K monitor. 4K monitor is 3840 by 2160. I know there's a couple of different variants on 4K, but that's the standard 4K resolution, the standard acceptable or accepted 4K PC resolution. And that one, naturally, because it fits exactly 4 1080p screens in a 2x2 formation, that has exactly 4 times as many pixels as 1080p. So it's got 8,294,400 pixels. Now, okay, that requires some serious power for one of those. But again, you can get a pretty high-end 4K gaming quality monitor for not even too expensive anymore. You're looking at maybe, you can pick up a high-end 4K PC monitor for about €800, €900. Now, that's roughly the same kind of money you're talking about for a high-end 1440p monitor. And the difference in them is, you know, it's there because there's some things that the 1440 will have, like higher frame rates. Usually they'll be TN panels with like 120 hertz or 144 hertz. And the 4K ones will generally be 60 hertz. There are a couple out there that are down at 30, but we won't worry about those. But so you can get a really high end one for you probably even less. I've seen not top of the line 4K monitors, but I've seen good high end, or at least lower high end, if you will, 4K monitors for maybe €500 or €600. That's a pretty reasonable asking price for the spec on most of them, if you ask me. And again, people can, you can come out and say in this video and just be like, well, I don't want to spend €600 on a monitor, or I don't want to spend €900 on a monitor. But again, remember, this is designed, this is a question aimed at the people who are willing to spend the $1,000, the $2,000 on that small little bit of graphical headroom that they're not even using properly, that they could absolutely, I mean, if you go from a 980, let's say you, I don't know, what's a perfect example? Okay, let's say you're running, let's say you have my card, let's say you have a 690, and you turn on Final Fantasy XIV, and you're playing that at 1080p 60 FPS, and you're playing at a constant 1080p 60 FPS. Fair enough, that's fine. And then you go and upgrade to a 980 Ti, and you're still playing the same games. A 980 Ti isn't going to give you a better 1080p 60 FPS experience than your 690. So, I mean, why? So I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people that are going to see this video that are going to possibly think the same thing, and we all know it's not designed for you people. These people, like myself, will actually understand and think, well, I have all this extra power, I might as well use it to push some more pixels at the same time. That's what the logical side of it is anyway, if you ask me. But there are so many people that I see on all types of forums, and maybe they're just being, bullshitters, and maybe they're just trying to say, oh yeah, I have the best PC. Maybe they're not even PC gamers at all. I hate people like that. There's way too many people that are talking about their high-end rigs who just don't even have PCs. But yeah, you get the idea. So why not use that? Not just to do what you're doing slightly more efficiently and with a slight bit of headroom. Why not put it to actual use? And again, I know I mentioned the relatively huge amount of power required for 4K gaming, at least at 4K gaming, 60 FPS. So if you're willing to put down the money to rock like a Titan X or two Titan X's or two or three Titan X's or two or three 980 Ti's in SLI, why are you gimping yourself on a 1080p monitor with this really, really high-end powerful setup that you're not even seeing the benefit from? Why would you waste that money? I just don't understand it at all. So I'm just going to leave it there anyway. So let me know in the comment section below if you know anyone like this. And I'm sure everyone who sees this video probably knows people like this. And like myself, it probably boggles your mind why people do this. And I try to talk people into upgrading, and I give them logical reasons and all, and people just won't. They're so reluctant, and I just cannot understand the thought process behind these people whatsoever. So let me know in the comment section below anything you've seen like this. If you are one of these people, let me know from your point of view. If you're willing to put down €1,500 to upgrade your graphical hardware for a little bit more oomph that you may not really need too much, let me know, and why you would possibly not want to upgrade a monitor, and maybe why you can't justify it or anything like that. So let me know all that in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter, details in the description below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the rest of the videos in my channel.